Okay, and then the teacher comes on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon, do you have me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, buddy.
The following is an American Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers.
No, they don't.
It should, but facts used in the American
But we think they should.
Hey, welcome. It's Talking Truth to Power, Nevada, and the world's freedom talking radio. I'm your host, Brendan Trainor, my co-host, Leland Faegre, across the table from me, and our on the board, Shannon Lawson. So there's a lot to talk about again this week.
Well, he's not actually on the board.
Well, he's next to the board. He's behind the board.
I'm just testing the waters here to
Okay.
determine how long I can get away with that joke.
Okay. So I guess the biggest news of the week was No Mo Cuomo.
And the Cuomo-sexuals?
Yeah, the Cuomo sexual revolt against him. You know, and whatever you think about the merits of the case, you know, some people are saying that it was purely a political hit and these women really didn't have that much, but still, whether that's the case or not, and it's the fact is that a major political icon for decades has fallen, and you know, the people are celebrating in the streets.
Well, I thought he was despicable. You know,
Yeah.
Trump sent him a ship and he didn't use it. But it
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, it wasn't his sexual overtures. It was the 15,000 senior citizens that he
I
took
know, but they never impeach you for those
for
things.
those important things.
They don't impeach you for neglecting the Constitution, like the war powers, the Congress. They don't impeach you for that. They don't impeach you for civil rights violations. They only impeach you for some kind of political hot-button issue that they've crossed. And right now the hot-button issue is sexual identity and Me Too and all that.
And I wonder if there wasn't some sort of back deal, you know, back office deal here, because, you know, he went a little quicker than I thought he might go.
Yeah, most people thought he would try to fight it, at least for a while, but he pulled a Richard Nixon and bowed out.
Well, do you have some sort of an arrangement with the Department of Justice? You know, we won't pursue this if,
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
that's very possible.
that's likely. Yeah.
Because, well, it wasn't the Department of Justice. It's so far. Although
No,
it
thus
could be.
far, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Albany sheriff, and that improper touching is pretty hard to prove. I mean, they're just started their investigation, so it's more like a threat than anything else. But maybe it'll go through now that he's a private citizen. But improper touching is a minor situation, and it's hard to prove. You know, so
Yeah, but like I said, you know, the real issues are those seniors.
yeah,
50, he's a mass murderer. That's what he is.
yeah. Well, they all are.
Yeah.
I mean, Biden is too.
But this guy, for a different reason. You
Yeah.
know? All he had to do was use the ship.
Right. Oh,
And the Madison Square Garden, they rehabilitated that thing in 3 days, I think. So it could be used.
he
And,
wouldn't
you know,
use the ship because it
he
was
didn't
Trump's
want
idea.
to give Trump
any credit. Right. And he didn't want Trump to find out what he was doing, so they covered up the
He's a
debt.
despicable human being. Who cares about this guy? I don't think the people of New York care about him.
No, I don't. Well, I'm sure there are a few, but maybe in the Little Italy in New York City they're mourning. But
Well, some of the broadcasters at MSNBC and CNN were a little sympathetic,
yeah,
but that's it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, even they could not stand up. I remember when, speaking of Biden and this sort of thing, I remember when Jen Psaki said
Circle back, Saki?
Circle back. She said in one of the press conferences that Tara Reade's claims were heavily litigated. And Tara Reade tweeted out, "Oh, did I miss the investigation?"
Well, she was right in that lawyers got involved, but it never went anywhere.
No.
I don't have anything new for you on that, and we'll circle back with you directly.
Okay.
I can circle back. I'll circle back with you.
I wonder if she will.
And there was a couple of minor scandals because, remember, Tara Reid appealed to this hashtag Me Too organization called Time's Up to help her, and they refused to help her.
That's right.
They came up with some lame excuse about it, but then we found out that during this Cuomo thing, Roberta Kaplan, and she, by some coincidence, Roberta Kaplan happens to be Jewish. I know it's just a sheer coincidence. Yeah. She resigned from Cuomo's cabinet among allegations that she was blocking the complaints that these 11 women had. Yeah.
I'm sure it's just coincidence.
I'm sure, yeah. These things always are. And what do you think about Gavin Newsom? Is he going to be the next...
He threw a fit yesterday, I heard.
Did he really?
Yeah, did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He slammed his fist on the desk. He knows he's going down.
And the media, of course, is trying to hide the fact that Larry Elder is basically tied with him, I think, in the polls.
Actually,
or maybe ahead of him.
He may have 10 points on him.
On him?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that fist on the table was all about.
Now, that would be a little bit different for California.
I say give him a gavel. He's going to need it.
And, Caitlyn Jenner, the other gubernatorial Republican candidate, she hired a film crew.
Yeah?
Yeah, so, it's just a reality show.
Oh, I see, yeah. You have the feel that that's pretty much what it is for her.
Yeah.
Or him.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't take that seriously, that candidacy very seriously. She's right on some of the issues and all that, but that's the extent of it.
Yep.
In a real leader, which is what California needs, it's Larry Elder.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him on his radio show. This goes back 15 years in Southern California. Had great conversations with him.
Yeah, I love it when I get through to one of the big shots on the radio. It's pretty rare, but yeah. So you talked to him, huh? Do you remember what he said?
Oh, a few times. And one in particular, I was trying to remember just a couple of days ago what that conversation was all about, but it ended in laughter. It was perfect.
All right.
Absolutely perfect.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsythe Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
Hey, welcome back to Talking Truth to Power. I'm Brendan Trainor. I'm here with Lee Faegre.
We forgot to mention the sensitive part of the resignation announcement yesterday.
Oh, that he loves New York. He everything he does is out of sheer love.
That's what it is.
For New York City and its people.
Yeah, so we wanted to be clear on that
most
point.
politicians aren't like that, but he's
That's
different.
Right, but he is.
Yeah.
It's the Italian.
Well, it's time to talk about the one of the elephants in the room, and that's the COVID and the draconian measures and the fight that's going on between the freedom lovers and the establishment meanies.
Which COVID version are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. It's whatever variant is next.
Because there's one right after the other.
I know.
So.
I think there's supposed to be one from Colombia now in Florida.
And the one from South Africa is on its way.
Oh, yeah?
So.
Well, I hope it isn't apartheid and doesn't just strike, one race.
Just us racists?
Yes.
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
Huh?
Well, Cheryl Atkinson, she was the journalist that got spied on during Obama's reign. Yeah, mm-hmm. She's still an independent journalist.
One of a few, apparently.
Right. Mm-hmm. And she published an article in which she listed all the different studies that have shown that natural immunity is actually as good or superior than vaccinated immunity.
Which is what we've been saying on the show.
Oh, yeah. We're truth to power here.
And I'm a living example of it.
Yes, I know. That's what I always think of Lee when this comes up, because if you were Canadian, you wouldn't be able to go back to your country.
That's right, huh?
Did you know that?
But we do get some credit in Europe.
Yes, we do get credit in Europe.
Natural immunity gets some credit there.
Yes. But
here,
nope.
You're either maxed or vaxxed.
And so it's incredible. And Rand Paul has been putting out these solo videos urging resistance to Faucism.
You mean fascism?
Faucism.
Oh, Faucism.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, YouTube took him down, didn't it?
Yeah, they shut him down for at least a week.
Yeah. He must be onto something.
Yes, exactly.
Shut up.
And, the people are starting to follow his cue.
Oh, I think he's becoming much more assertive and much more influential.
For 5 years and a teacher for 10. In that time, I have learned so much, being on the cutting edge of educational technology and working with a diverse population of students that I have loved. This year, I have the privilege to follow my amazing 4th graders up to 5th, and I have been excited about this all summer. On the other hand, this summer I have struggled with the idea of returning to school, knowing that I'll be working yet again with a school division that, despite its shiny tech and flashy salary, promotes political ideologies that do not square with who I am as a believer in Christ. Not only that, but within the last year, I was told in one of my so-called equity trainings that white, Christian, able-bodied females currently have the power in our schools, and that, quote, this has to change. Clearly, you've made your point. You no longer value me or many other teachers you've employed in this county. So since my contract outlines the power that you have over my employment in Loudoun County Public Schools, I thought it necessary to resign in front of you. School board, I quit. I quit your policies, I quit your trainings, and I quit being a cog in a machine that tells me to push highly politicized agendas on our most vulnerable constituents, the children. I will find employment elsewhere. I encourage all parents and staff in this county to flood the private schools.
That was Laura Morris's statement of resignation last night before the Loudoun, Virginia.
Very powerful.
School board.
Yeah, very powerful.
Yeah, probably the most powerful I've seen yet, because her emotional heft took control, and that's always very meaningful.
Yes. But, she's absolutely right. I mean, she was talking about the whole spectrum there, I think, the whole thing about critical race theory as well as COVID.
And what the school board was effectively asking others to snitch on these teachers. If you see somebody doing this, you want to know about it.
Yeah, I know. That's terrible.
And that's what,
that is so un-American.
That's the school board for you. You know what?
What did Mark Twain say about school boards?
Mark Twain, in a quote, this is a quote from him: "In the first place, God made idiots. This was for practice. Then he made school boards." I've always felt that way.
Yeah. I know. Boards of education, I know some common sense people have run for boards of education, and they've made a few inroads here in northern Nevada, but it's an uphill slog. They have
but not anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
Because over and over again we're hearing that school boards are being
Well,
sent-
yeah, but there's
sent-
thousands and thousands of school
Right,
boards, you
that's
know?
right. But you can see there's a
Yeah,
groundswell
there is a groundswell.
of parental indignation about this development, and they want these people gone.
Right.
And so, I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. I think
Right.
it took a day and a half or two.
And with the power of media, if it's not being censored,
Yeah.
you can get these ideas out there.
Right, exactly.
So what do we know now about the vaccines? I mean, according to the Swiss Policy Research Institute, the COVID vaccines, their ability to prevent infection has dropped from 90% to 40%. And they're saying if you're a senior citizen and you got vaccinated in January, your ability to avoid infection is practically zero now.
Because it's run its course? The vaccination?
Yeah, the vaccination is.
So you're going to need a booster.
And yeah, so they will need a booster, exactly. And then they have to figure out whether getting a booster is, you know, more of a health risk than actually getting the disease. And again, it depends on how much at risk you are. But they're also saying that most people won't even know they have it. The vaccines are still effective in preventing serious symptoms and
precluding death.
Yes. Although we're hearing different things we're hearing some hospitals saying they're overwhelmed, and then the people at the hospital are saying, no, we're not.
Yep.
We're still open.
So it's like we've gone back a year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all part of the plan.
It is part of the plan.
It is part of the plan.
And the big pharmaceutical interests want you to have that booster, you know, as often as necessary.
Yes. And, you know, Israel is a laboratory, especially for the Pfizer vaccine, because it was created in Israel, and they really pushed Pfizer in Israel.
And did you see that chart I saw yesterday? Wasn't that an amazing thing?
Well, I've seen several charts,
well,
yeah.
Palestinian infection is very, very low.
Oh. But they're not getting the vaccine, are they?
But Jews, no, they're not. But Jews are skyrocketing.
Nope.
Isn't that amazing?
They're the chosen people.
They're the chosen people.
And the reason is that vaccines do not reach what doctors call mucosal immunity. They increase the serum antibody levels in the blood, but that can decrease within months. Natural immunity, like you have, Lee, that actually does provide mucosal immunity. Mm-hmm. Natural immunity is superior to vaccinated, immunity.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this.
And there's some talk now.
I've actually been urged to get the vaccine.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's not good. You know, my natural immunity is not good enough.
Yeah. But you know what? They're talking about doctors giving people COVID in a controlled setting.
Right.
It's like a sophisticated measles party that the parents used to have.
Count me as an adherent.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's exactly what you should do. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Scientifically possible!
Get the virus. Thank me later. That would be what I would urge people to do. If you can get it. And by the way, this new strain is apparently not as, viral as the one that I got.
Well, that should be what it is.
Right, because they go around that immunity.
Yeah, when they morph into a different strain,
Correct.
they lose some of their virility. They gain transmittability, but they lose virility.
Exactly.
That's what the science says. Well, it's
Where's Thomas Dolby when you need him?
I know. So, if it's true that the vaccines are wearing out, why do we need vaccine passports? Right. I mean,
right.
Exactly. I mean, what does it prove?
Well, there's going to be one right after another.
Yeah.
So, are they going to upgrade your vaccine passport with each booster shot?
I don't know.
Is that the way they have this thing planned out?
So I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in early June. In January, they're gonna tell me I need a booster shot.
I think
would
so.
Imagine.
It's rigged.
And, you know, the money, ka-ching, the money is just going to keep coming in for these pharmaceutical companies.
Because as you pointed out, I believe next year they're going to get $100 a jab, aren't they?
Yeah, they're supposed to get over 100 a jab next year.
So
the emergency was supposed to be over.
Count, 6 billion on the planet.
Yeah.
Times 100.
I think even Baron Russia would be jealous.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh. So, and in Paris, you have all these gendarmes acting like Inspector Clouseau. Remember when he was busting the organ grinder and they were robbing the bank right behind him?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're going around demanding people in open-air cafes show their Vax cards.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
This overload.
Shannon Lawson here. Join us for the Nevada Radio Roundup, Fridays at 2 p.m. A good news variety show all about the local scene. The Nevada Roundup, Friday at 2.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now, back to the show.
Hey, welcome back to Talking Truth to Power. I'm your host, Brennan Trainor. I'm here with Lee Faegre. And, Tucker Carlson upset everybody again this week.
He surprised everybody, first of all, because none of us knew he was going to Hungary.
No.
He didn't announce it.
No.
Just turned up there. So, Tucker's in Budapest. Oh, interesting. Made quite a splash for himself and for the show, I think.
Yeah. And he publicly visited the border, and there were two Syrians that snuck in from Serbia, and he just showed that they were photographed and briefly interviewed and then shown the door. No big deal, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they don't have this unaccompanied minor situation like we do.
Right, and they don't have Viktor Orban either.
Yeah, we don't have Viktor.
We don't, Viktor. We don't.
Yeah, right. And then he praised Budapest for lack of its skyscrapers. It is a kind of an old-fashioned city.
He loves the architecture.
Yeah. He wondered at the older buildings that still bear some bullet holes from World War II and the Soviet occupation. But primarily it's because he talked to President Orban and gave the man a hearing.
The Donald Trump of Central Europe.
Yes. And so everybody freaked out, on the left and the supposed right, because we don't know where some of these people really lie.
Not to mention the European community.
Yes, not to mention.
That was an earthquake to them.
Yep. So Bill Kristol, he tweeted out, "The new American right is meeting with the old European right, and it is anti-American." Now, what do you think he means by the old European right?
Well, Bill Kristol is a Trotskyite socialist.
Yeah.
Who today would rather be referred to as a neoconservative.
Right.
But his father hobnobbed with Trotsky.
Yes, of course.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah. But the old European right, I think, is what they call a buzzword or for Nazis. That's,
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so...
You know the thing.
Yeah.
And so...
the Hungarian GDP is smaller than New York State. Did you know that?
Well, it's 10 million people.
Yeah, it's the same population as New York.
Yeah,
State.
Budapest is 2 million. It's really two cities, you know. The Danube flows right down the middle, and it's like Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's Buda and Pest.
Mm-hmm.
And Buda is more commercialized and government offices, and Pest is more rural. It's up. You have to go up a mountain to get into Pest. But anyway, then David Frum lied outright when he said that people in Hungary are afraid to speak their minds. And, you know, hasn't David Frum been to California lately?
Does David Frum ever tell the truth?
No, I don't think he ever does.
So we just dismiss him.
I mean, Hungary is a free speech zone, especially compared to the U.S. and Western Europe.
It's another Jewish neocon.
Yep.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
And then here's another one, Jonathan Chait. He's not a neocon, I don't think. He's a neoliberal. And he's also happens to be Jewish. He called Tucker's emphasis on borders and family as going fash, like fascistic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
So anything that has to do with the family or maintaining borders is absolutely fascistic.
Sure, because you can't have sovereignty in Europe.
No, that's the last thing they want.
Last thing.
Yeah. But once again, like we pointed out in the show, the left is wallowing in projection. Everything they say is Orban is doing is actually what they themselves are planning for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's projection 101. Biden called Orban a totalitarian thug.
That was last year, right?
I think it was last year.
Yeah.
It may have been, or could have been last month for all I know. But you know, Orban is a simple man. He drives himself around Budapest with little or no security.
Right.
And he's standing for election again.
My thought, as I'm listening to him with Tucker last week, was I'm concerned about his security.
Yeah.
That was my original thought.
Right.
Never mind the fact that he's driving himself around in a car.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Europe is different and everything, but it's still, you know, he's a target. He has to be a target.
Yeah, Putin likes to drive too, so I guess that means Putin is a totalitarian thug too. He drove the first truck across that new bridge from Russia to Crimea. He personally drove the first truck across it. He likes to drive.
Right.
But
18-wheeler.
Yeah. But others sneer that Hungary is just another poor, insignificant European country, and the people there sometimes don't have tumble dryers, and European refrigerators are smaller than American refrigerators, especially Nancy Pelosi's refrigerator. I mean, you could fit 10 European refrigerators in her refrigerator.
I think no matter where you go in Europe, you're downsized by those kinds of things.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, it's really, we're the first world, or we have been, although we're losing it. And then Europe is kind of like the second world, or, you know, cut above the, a significant cut above the third world.
A secondary opulence is what how you describe Europe.
So
subordinate opulence.
And as you pointed out, the people in Brussels, the EU, I call them the secular Puritans, they don't have very much of a track record in defending democracy there, do they?
Well, they hate it.
No, they
don't like democracy.
Yeah, that's why Farage, you know, he blasted them every chance he could get.
Yeah. I do too.
And the two Irish representatives in there are always at loggerheads with them. But they don't, the European Parliament, people don't know that, does not actually generate legislation, but it approves bills sent to it by the unelected European Commission. So all these regulations and mandates that they send out to the EU nations, they're not democratic really at all.
It's monolithic.
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they want.
Do you want to play a game?
Well, also in foreign policy, you know, Kamala Harris is on her way to Vietnam. She's probably landed already.
Yeah, that's right. She probably has landed on it.
All right.
If it's possible.
And her theme is going to be America's back.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Vietnamese are thrilled to know that America's back.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, they've been using that America's back thing for a while.
I know.
To distance themselves from Trump.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the neighborhood's changed.
Yeah.
We might be back, but it's a whole different neighborhood.
Right. They have a stock market and everything.
But we're trying to enlist Vietnam in our as an ally against China, but so far they're not going for it. They're saying that, we have border disputes with China and other disputes, but they're our biggest trading partner, and we don't want any U.S. military bases here. We don't want a war with China. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure Kamala has the negotiation skills necessary.
She's very good at what she does.
To be able to help them change their minds, yes.
Do you see her unfavorable ratings are higher than her favorable ratings?
Yeah, but Biden's in the underwater too.
Yes, he is.
If you take out
you haven't seen nothing yet.
If you take out one poll that had him at 57%, he's under 50%.
Yep.
Too. So.
Amazing. And I think that was a Rasmussen poll, which are good, legitimate numbers that we can expect to be accurate. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And Russia just caused Washington another headache because they unveiled yet another hypersonic missile. And this one is an ICBM, the kind that are launched from a silo, called the Sharmat. And this one, they say, has unlimited range, so it can strike the Western Hemisphere from either the North Pole or the South Pole. Doesn't matter. It can come in from any direction.
Can it go the other way?
It can probably go, yep. Maybe it can circle the moon and come back.
That's what I'm thinking.
Do you know that most all of American space vehicles that we send into space actually have Russian rockets? Russian engines?
We were sharing technology, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even from the beginning.
Yeah.
Our vaunted engineers, whom we spend $700 trillion in the military-industrial complex, they haven't been able to produce a better rocket engine than the Russians.
Well, this is what, during the Nixon, if you go to the Cold War, this is the technology transfers were legendary between the United States. We weren't just feeding the Soviet Union. We were also building their infrastructure, their highway system, a lot of...
well, we didn't do a good job because they still have lousy highways.
Well, you can talk to GE about that. But that's some of these biggest transnational companies were over there taking advantage of the Cold War. They weren't sitting on the sidelines.
Whenever there's a buck to be made, some people will figure out how to make it.
And they were in a monopoly environment, so they didn't have to compete.
Oh, yeah.
That was the beauty of it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the Russian government gave them carte blanche, you're saying?
No, Armand Hammer didn't even have to let him know he was coming.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He just crossed over in his plane.
Yeah, he was a piece of work, that Armand Hammer.
Yeah.
Isn't his son an actor
his
now?
Father,
He's in
Julius
the Lone
Hammer.
Ranger?
Well, his father, Julius Hammer, founded the Communist Party in the United States.
Oh,
yeah.
Just a coincidence.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Yes. I mean, we can't put too much stock into these coincidences.
That's right.
We're going to have some more coincidences when we come back from the break.
Yeah, what are they?
We're going to have a Jews in the News, and that's just chock full of coincidences.
Okay. That's what we do around here.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
All right, and welcome back to Talking Truth to Power. I'm Brendan Trainor, and Leland Faegre, my co-host. Should be coming up. All right. Hey, it's time for Jews in the News, and of course we have to give the Anti-Defamation League required disclaimer first. And we know that Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East and the only democracy in the Middle East, and they don't throw gay people off of roofs. And furthermore, whenever we see Jews behaving badly, we must remember each and every time it's always our fault. Exactly. Well, who's the first Jew in the news this week? Billionaire Google co-founder Larry Page. Now, his mother is Jewish, which makes him ethnically Jewish. He says he's not religious, but he's in the news.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah. He says he's in the news because, like many billionaires, he has retreated from COVID the way very few can. He bought his own Fijian island.
Oh, okay. That's one way to do it. Why didn't I think of that?
But he's in the news because when his 12-year-old son needed medical attention, he jumped to the head of the line to get him to a hospital in Auckland, New Zealand.
Oh, I find that hard to believe.
Unlike ordinary folks who have to jump through red tape barriers and endure 2 weeks isolation protocols.
Not him.
He just walked right in. He's not even a resident of New Zealand.
That's right, huh?
And the health ministry, embarrassedly, I suppose, admitted he was granted special entrance by the Ministry of Health.
Well, at least they were honest about it.
There's a big club, and we ain't in it.
That's right. That is so true.
Then we have The Atlantic, and you know all the New York magazines and papers are controlled by a certain ethnicity that we're discussing. But the Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg published an article from a former Obama Homeland Security official, Juliet Kayyem. Now, I wasn't able to look up her ethnicity, but I would bet...
I'm sure it's just coincidence.
Yes. Calling for unvaccinated people to be put on a federal no-fly list.
Huh.
Isn't that special?
Uh-huh.
And then Republican-controlled opposition leader Ben Shapiro said the January 6 protesters were evil and should rot in prison for what they did. Yes. Well, we know where Ben stands now.
Yeah.
And during
if you can understand him.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks so fast.
I know. Things slip out sometimes.
And you can't hit the pause button.
No.
So, I mean, you're kind of... What did he say?
I know. If they ever make him a flagship show here on the other channel, I will imagine that it's probably due to the fact that he has a lot of clout.
Well, he's a challenge for sure.
Right.
As a consumer of news and information, you really do have to sort of lighten up your discovery when you're listening to him, and oftentimes just turn down and recollect what he said in the previous sentence. I've done that many times when I listen to him.
Well, there's a certain libertarianish wing of the Republican media, independent media conglomerate with him and Dennis Shapiro and Dennis Prager and Dave Rubin, and they're all qualified, at times for this segment, Jews in the News.
It's a big club. And you ain't in it.
Yeah. That's it.
Now, of course, we had the race in Cleveland for Congress, and progressive candidate Nina Turner lost a close race. She was up in the polls until the last few weeks to replace the Democrat Representative Marcia Fudge, who was promoted to Biden's cabinet. So the other candidate was also a black woman, but she was a neoliberal friend of Bill's.
Mm-hmm.
So former State Senator Turner, she was considered a genuine progressive that could discipline the squad. But people were betting whether if she got elected, she would remain so or capitulate, like the faux squad, and be neutered by the Israeli lobby. The squad just voted for $3 billion in emergency military aid for Israel without uttering a peep. But what's interesting is the infusion of Israel-aligned PAC money into opponent Shontel Brown's media campaign is largely credited with her defeat. The money was used to get the upper middle class white citizens of Cleveland out to vote for the liberal establishment candidate. And Turner gave a fiery speech after her defeat in which he blamed evil money for her defeat. Well, that wasn't going to last for long. The Democrat Majority for Israel PAC contributed $2 million, spent largely on ads emphasizing Turner was an outsider who once said, voting for Biden will get you half a bowl of, can't say the word.
Oh, no kidding.
Instead of a full bowl.
Wow.
But I'm sure Turner's support for Palestinian rights and promises to vote for tying aid to Israel to its human rights records had nothing to do with the infusion of Jewish money spent on media hits.
Yeah, I'm sure that's just coincidence.
Yeah, it's another coincidence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, after she said that it was evil money, Jeffrey Greenblatt and the ADL sprang into action. And Greenblatt tweeted out that Turner was spreading an age-old anti-Semitic trope. He said he would send some agents from the local ADL to, quote, talk to her.
I see.
Nice little political career you got, Nina. Would be a shame if something happens to it.
Yeah, right. And Greenblatt doesn't have that to be worried about.
No. So now it's an anti-Semitic trope that Zionists and other Jewish organizations spend lots of money to elect or defeat candidates. What?
Yep.
We'll have to see if she issues an apology.
Well, we'll be standing by. We'll be watching that.
Yeah.
We don't miss too much around here.
But the last Jews in the news is a little more salacious.
Uh-oh.
Wall Street financier Howard Rubin, 66 years old, and he was George Soros's former money manager and right-hand man.
Not a good sign.
Is being sued by 6 women for beating and assaulting them during kinky bondage and discipline sessions at his Manhattan apartment sex dungeon.
Assaulting?
Assaulting.
Wow.
Yeah. The women are suing Rubin in a civil trial scheduled for November for $18 million. I guess he has it. If he doesn't, he could tap George for some.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe Weinstein.
Now, he's accused of beating one woman so badly her breast implant flipped. Now, I know you're going to say that's no big. Come on. Sex workers need the tools of their trade. Sex workers work. Come on.
It doesn't even sound possible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another woman claims Rubin had sex against her will, ignoring the safe word, after telling her, I'm going to rape you like I raped my daughter. That was nice.
Boy. That is something.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Former colleagues at the Soros Fund Management told the New York Post, I thought he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was a nebbish Jewish guy and totally normal. I was surprised to hear about him having that apartment with a sex dungeon in it.
Yeah. I'm sure he's the only one.
So all of the accusing women appear to be blonde and blue-eyed, attractive, Nordic or Slavic-looking shiksas.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you ever read Portnoy's Complaint and other Jewish novels, or watched a Woody Allen movie once in a while, you know that many Jewish men are obsessed with goyim women. They can marry and have a family with nice Jewish women, but have all kinds of perverse fantasies about goy shikskas.
It is a common preference, isn't it?
Yeah. And they often have the money or power to act out many of these fantasies. In fact, if you look carefully, most of the hashtag #MeToo original perps, with the exception of Bill Cosby, but most of them were almost all Jewish. So people are wondering if Manhattan DA Cyrus Vance, who covered for rich Jewish predators Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, will get around to finally filing criminal charges against Rubin. But I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it.
Seems like a long shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, seems like a long shot. So, the Jewish people have these neuroses from centuries of being, confined to their own I don't want to. This is off the cuff, so I don't want to say anything.
What's going around the world?
Yeah.
It may be off the cuff, but it's going around the world.
Being the chosen people has its price.
That's a pretty good way of.
Yeah, and one of the prices is several neuroses that develop. I mean, Sigmund Freud.
Just because you're chosen doesn't mean you're perfect.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll have to discuss this at length in another segment.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to, and that's that 52 warrants for Texas fleabaggers that took off or going to come back. They're going to be arrested on site. I can't wait for that.
Now, they're not going to be tried criminally or anything. They're going to be arrested and forced to come to the Texas State House. Yeah. Love it.
Good show.
Do you think it belongs in the archives?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I was going to actually finish with that. But I wanted to get that